So welcome back. Today's excerpt is from chapter 23 and Talking to Joe. This is a chapter and my reaching out to Joe and talking with him in hopes that he can help guide me. It's actually a very honest chapter. It was one of the hardest things at the time for me to be really honest in my feelings with Joe and everything that I was feeling, but it would turn out to be, something that I truly needed to do. And it's now my work in helping others is to express those things we are so afraid to say because we feel this shame and this guilt and like we're being selfish, when in fact that is part of the healing process, is to voice these things that we keep locked inside, and in doing that we actually help to set ourselves free and to heal those parts that need to be healed. So I give Joe a little bit of background about what has been going on with Gidget and myself, and I'm going to pick up to the part where I'm really getting to be very honest with him, which was very hard to do. So my voice was shaking as I said, "I want my freedom, Joe. I want more time with John and to be able to do more things together. I also want to be with my friends. I'd love to go on some retreats for myself, but I can't do these things because of the care Gidget requires. I'm only able to be gone for about 5 hours because I have to get back home to express her bladder. Even then, there's often a mess to clean up when I return." And it's hard for me to say this as it feels incredibly selfish. But what about my quality of life? Whenever I think about it, I feel resentful, followed by guilt, because I genuinely do love Gidget. She can't help it that she has IVDD and can't control her bladder. I also was well aware of all of this when I adopted her. But there are days when I feel at the end of my rope, and I just can't cope. In all honesty, I sense there will be some relief when I won't have to care for her anymore. After everything had spilled out, I felt some relief in sharing openly what was on my heart, though the guilt and the shame remained. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was a terrible person for having these feelings, and it was overwhelming. Joe assured me everything I was feeling was natural, and I sensed no judgment from him. This was the pressure I was putting on myself, though I didn't know how to stop. "I have 2 questions I'd like you to think about," he said. "Okay. First, can you be okay with owning and feeling all of your emotions?" This should be doable, I thought, but a part of me was just so drained. I didn't want to feel all the feelings anymore. But I said, "I'm willing to keep working on that." "I'm glad to hear this. It's really important that you feel all your feelings, especially the ones that feel most uncomfortable." Trying to reassure myself, I said, "I can do this." Second, can you be okay with not knowing right now? And the reason for that is I was contemplating whether or not I should put Gidget to sleep because of all the chronic health issues she was having, and I just didn't feel it was fair that she was having to go through all of that. But I wasn't sure where I was going to go with that. So he said, "Can you be okay with not knowing right now?" Well, I understood this as meaning the question of whether or not I should euthanize Gidget. It felt incredibly difficult. My whole body was in a knot. I was also holding my breath while my throat was constricted and felt as if it was on fire. I honestly didn't know if I could be okay with not knowing. I wanted to know now what the right thing was to do. For what felt like forever, a silence hung between us. Finally, in barely a whisper that took everything within me, I said, "I'll try." He said, "I know it's not easy, but I also believe you can do this." I couldn't speak, nodding my head up and down while tears wanted to explode to the surface, but I held them in. We agreed to talk again the following week. So that is where we're going to leave off today. And as I continue on this journey of owning my feelings, trying to be okay with not knowing, where this was all going, The next chapter I'm going to share with you tomorrow is from chapter 24, and that is an excerpt from the chapter called Pet Caregiver Burden. This was a blessing that I came across this website and this work that I will share with you tomorrow. So I'll see you then.